Okay, good afternoon, gents. I hope everyone is well. I've been looking at this. There is a triple test there, but there's also multiple traps. There's a higher low, which is triggered. There's a lower high, which is triggered. What I'm looking at, I think it's likely to come down, but you've just got to be so careful here. What I don't like is we've had 1, 2, 3 pushes up, but in between that triple test, we've had that drop below. And that's the bit that I don't like, because normally after a triple test, market just really drops. But this is the bit that I don't like, which is why I've stayed out of there. It does look like it's pushing down, but there are traps there. You may have gone long there. You may have gone long there. You've just been stopped out. So I think it's just a little bit risky at the moment. So I just have to keep an eye on that. So how you doing, Brick? How you doing, What? So let's NC. Good morning to you. So I have to keep an eye on this at the minute. But I would have said the trouble is we've had a leg down and we've had a break and we've had 1, 2, 3 pushes up. So for me, it's a triple test. But the bit I think that makes it a little bit confusing is this drop here. If we hadn't have had this and it had just gone 1, 2, 3 without the drop, I may have been a bit more inclined to get involved there, and it does look like it's going to work. But the trouble is, we seem to be bouncing on a line as well, a makeshift line, which makes it even, because normally good triple tests, we may have a leg down, triple test, and then we'll have that other leg down. And usually after triple test, it comes down pretty quick. But obviously, we've had that one. So there's a higher low there. So there may be some longs trapped there, but that stopped below and it hasn't dropped. So I'd say I made the right decision to stay out of that. Whether it will, so that was the one there. He actually looked a bit better on the 1,000-tick chart, but it's that bit that's made me a little bit nervous about it. So, okay, so you'd have definitely got 2 points out of it, no argument there. But it's not your sort of standard triple test because of this drop. So if I quickly drag in the 1,000-tick chart, it's a bit clearer there. We sort of got 1 push up, 2 push up, and a nice bearish bar, but we've still got that drop. And that's the bit that's put me off. If we'd have just gone 1, 2, 3 without this drop, then I'd have jumped all over that. And in all fairness, it probably will work. But the fact that we've had the drop makes it a bit more risky, in my opinion. So just keep an eye on that. So you would have got your points out of there. You'd have got a couple of points out of it. But, JP, good morning. So, good day yesterday. I had a short day yesterday. I had a party to go to, but I was up about $770. So, all's well at the moment. So, my 4 accounts are up about $8,400. I have had $2,000, so they would have been up $10,400. So they're growing nicely. I passed another evaluation a couple of days ago, so this is day 4, so you can see that micro loss there. But I've still got another $64 over the 300, so I've got another 3 of those, so that's fine. It's not an issue. So all good. So all starting to build up nice. The plan next month is to take $1,000 out of each, which will give me $4,000. And that's the plan, to get $4,000 a month for the next 2 months, I would say. And then there should be enough in there to take $2,000 from each of them, which will give me $8,000 a month. And obviously, whatever how many more PA accounts I grow in the meantime. So that's my plan anyway. So Chris, how you doing, pal? Thomas Payne, how are you, mate? Where are you today? Not far from me, I'm assuming. Weather's a bit naff today. We've not had the best summer, have we, bud? We had a really sort of warm end of May to June, and then from July onwards, it's just been absolute crap, in all fairness. But Europe have been getting battered with hot weather, so there you go. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, Groll Daddy, how you doing? So let's keep an eye on this. I have been messing around with some form of a channel there. Whether it's some form of a spiking channel, I don't know. It's a bit early, really, in all fairness. It could just bounce. It does look like it's bounced once, twice, three times. May just pull back into that range, but we did have a strong move up yesterday, so market did. I put that down. In fact, that should be a bit different. Yesterday's highs and lows. Boom. Okay, so we had a good move up yesterday. I think we started about here, but that trend went up a nice. Well, we had a break from it, but it carried on. It really shot up, so we moved up about 75, 76 points yesterday. But we had that nice trend which went up like 55 points. Now, I was out quite early, but I don't know whether you'd have got in on that at all. I think there was some trades. I think I was here for that. But one leg down, two legs down, that might have been an option. Also a second entry long. Yeah, it is frustrating sometimes, but sometimes when we do get these strong trends, if you adjust the tick charts, it can make things a little bit clearer. But it is a second entry long that, but I'm not a massive fan because it's below the EMA. Yeah, we're going up, but we didn't know we were going to continue right up, so that's the problem. But we do look like we've pushed up there. We've got two clear legs down to me, so that may have been an option. Same again below the EMA, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? So, Rodian, how are you? So, a little bit of a better day yesterday, a little bit clearer. It is frustrating when we just sort of do a lot of this choppy sideways. But at least yesterday we had some movements, not huge amounts. Not huge amounts of offerings, but nonetheless we had a push up. So let's see what sort of day we have. And then obviously we didn't have any news, so I don't know what the hell caused that. Well, whether it was just a bit of a rally or not, but something must have happened to cause that. You know, it's pretty unusual to have like a 12-point bar just for no reason. So I don't know whether you guys know anything. That would have been around about 20 past 9 UK time. Nvidia earning. Oh, okay. So I couldn't see nothing there, but obviously something happened. Markets don't generally just move that quick without something. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, markets just opened a few seconds ago. So let's see how we get on. It is looking like it's trying to go lower. But it is too early, really. I'm going to bring this down here now, just to here, because it fits. Touch, touch, touch. So we'll just have to keep an eye on this. So, yeah, officially open. So we could come down. We may have a leg and then a leg. But it's a bit early, really. We need to break through this and then come back and retest it before I'm thinking about going short at the moment. But for the last, where are we now? 2 o'clock. So this was around about 8 o'clock UK time. So 4, 5. For the last 6.5 hours, we've been coming down. So let's see how we get on here. So how you doing, Sam? And we did have a little bit of a, yeah, I suppose after that big push up, that was to be expected, that little bit of a gap, wasn't it? Okay, so this does look like we're coming down, so I would say we've got a leg and then a leg. And if you look, there is a little bit of a, maybe a little bit of a top there, a little bit of congestion there, but okay, so that's working out nice. So, yeah, there was a triple test that I mentioned there, which actually worked. Lower high might have been a better option. My only slight concern is, as I mentioned, we've had 3 pushes up, but in between those pushing up, we've had a drop down and we've broken the lows of the day. So that concerns me that if we are ranging, it may push up, trap some shorts, and then push up some more. And it's a bit too earlier on in the day to... I kind of left it because there was a higher low there, so there may have been some traps there. There was certainly some longs got stopped out there, and maybe some there, I don't know, but triple test nonetheless. But I've only just started paying a little bit more attention at triple test because I've stayed away from them But you know, they do, when they work, they generally work really well. And the only thing that stopped that from pulling down quickly was, one, the official market hadn't opened, and obviously that little drop in between the three pushes up. So let's keep an eye on this. So let me just see now if there is any type of a channel. There could possibly be. Okay, that kind of. So it's possible. Let me move that out of the way a bit. Do this again. So go from the top. Yeah, okay, so that kind of fits. And what it could be, really, it could end up being maybe just something like this. We'll see. We'll have to see. I'm going to get rid of it for a minute. Sometimes if you put them in too early, they just affect your bias a bit. But I'd say this measured leg is quite probable. I'd like to retest the bottom of this before we have another push. So it could be leg, pull back to here, and then another leg. So let's just drop this in. So a little bit of a break there. Excuse me a second while I let my dog in before he comes through the door. Yeah, I mean, there was some trades there. There was that triple test. There was that higher low. And they all work for a few points. But then we had sort of maybe one last try. And after that, we just came down bar after bar after bar. So nice 3 points. Good on you, mate. Where did you go, here, or did you go the lower high or something like that? It just made me a bit nervous, especially after that push up. The bit of a drop there. I like it when they tend to just go like that without the drop, and then you're looking for obviously that final attempt to go higher then before we drop down. But we did drop here in the meantime, which I think was why this went a bit sideways before we had a push down, one last go, and then a drop. So it is starting to look a bit bearish. Okay, one little last pullback before we come and hit this, I think. But I fully expect to hit that. They're usually mega accurate, they are. Beautiful. So that measured move worked nice, and look what happened as it touched it. In fact, we could probably squeeze this together a bit. Let's have a look. That goes there like that. That's okay. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. So they're really accurate. So the trouble is, because we spend such a lot of time ranging, you straight away you get it in your head when we start getting these pullbacks off this area here, these bounces that we may end up ranging, and then when obviously we have a drop, it's sort of a bit hard to believe, really. So what I'm going to do is just fade this. So just to tell me that, you know, the overnight lows were here, and we've had a break out of this. So I think it is likely we may end up, if we can come back up here and retest this, that may give us a bit of a line through there. So let me have a look at that. right. Well, I'm just glancing at the 1,000 tick chart above my head as well. There is what may be possible second entry long, but I'm short. Sorry, but I'm not going short here. I'd rather get up here and maybe retest this. And if we do retest that, that might give us our line. It's not to say it won't just drop down. It may do, but okay. So it does look like it's really starting to trend now. Just going to leave that like that because we've gone a bit choppy. We've come down, we've pushed up, and I'm just going to do it from there now, just to see how we get on. But I like the way this is. That EMA started on about 3.5. Sorry, the ATR started about 3.5, but it's dropped quite a bit, which tells me the bars are smaller. So if we get lots of smaller bars and this push down, it may indicate that we may get some sort of nice movement down. Fwad, good morning. Have I got that right? Fwad, is that right? I just don't like murdering some. Yes, okay, great. Okay, there's nothing worse than having your name wrong. It can be frustrated. Okay, so let's see if this confirms this channel. Kind of does, doesn't it? Does look like two legs, that. My only slight concern is we come back and retest this, which is why I'm just leaving alone just at the minute. So that for me is confirmed this channel, but it may push up a bit. I don't know. I'll have to just keep an eye on that. Okay, so there's a higher low there. So maybe we're going to push up, or if we trap this, maybe it might come down. But what I will say is be careful here because it's going a bit sideways, so you could get stung here. Yeah, this is a little bit risky, this. There is a lower high, but that could be a trap. There could be multiple traps there. If we can get below here at the bottom, I'm okay then. Then I'm quite happy that this is a channel. So that is a second entry short which is triggered, but it's sideways, so it's congested. I wouldn't be shocked if that got stopped out. It may not, it may come down. This is certainly a good sign that we're coming down, but we are going sideways, so you just don't know. That could get stopped out. And it's looking like it is. Okay, may get away with that. Okay, that's starting to look better, but there could be, there may be some shorts there, there may be some shorts there, there may be some shorts there, so this could just push up, take all these shorts out and retest that. It is starting to look bearish, so you may, okay, good, happy days. So if anybody did take that, good. Yeah, it went right up to level with that on that second entry short lower high. I would hope for that. If this does start to drop now, I would be thinking then, okay, this is starting to look bearish, and this is where we want to start thinking about going short. Sometimes I got a habit of waiting way too late, and before it's really confirmed we've got a massive downtrend, we're coming to the end of it. So, okay, we've nicely dropped out the bottom of there, so that's good. That's good. So touch there, touch there, touch there. I'm quite happy now that that channel is confirmed. It's working in there nice. So nice and bearish. I like that. 3 nice bars down there. So all good. So if we actually break out the bottom here at some point, we may end up widening this chart because it also kind of fits. I wouldn't be shocked if we had something, you know, that did that, but at the moment let's just keep it simple. Sorry about the barking. Okay, so let's have a look at what's going on now. If we do get a push up here, then that might bring that wider channel in. We'll have to see. Okay, that's just first entry. It's gone too far for a lower high. Just a first entry, that. My only slight concern is this is where I would say we started from. We've come a bit further away from here now. And we've come further away still, so it may be losing a bit of momentum. So we may have a break. I would like to see it try and push higher. Because as I mentioned, I think it's likely we may see that top come into play at some point, which would bring us to there. So I would like to see a break there, but we are coming slightly further away from this, so I've got a feeling the break's going to be now. Strong trend, yeah. And I did just mention I think we're going to have a break, and we have. And reason being is we've come right from this side. The next push down, we've come a bit further away. This push down, we've come even further away. So this is telling me I think we need a break. and we've had a break, and that's why I mentioned I think it may get some more traction if we get maybe close to here. Sorry. Up here, I mean, which would take us down to around about there. Which, funnily enough, is right where we are. So I did say I think we're going to get a break, and we have. So let's see if it stops there and continues down. But it may push higher and maybe have a go at retesting this. I don't know. It's a bit early yet. If we do come to here, I think this work here, these candles here will work in a top tier of a channel. If you hit your 3,000 profit, 3 days, what happens? I've hit my 3,000 profit in 2 days, but just do one micro. Can you see there's a $3 loss there? Change it where it says ES 923 to MES. So just go on to the micros. And just, if you look in here where I've got this, I have a 2 times, it's actually 1 tick and a micro, and then just buy it or sell it, doesn't matter. I mean, I bought and it stopped me out, and it's only a tick and a micro, so I lost $3. But my evaluation is at $3,064, so it does. I've got 3 more days there, so it doesn't matter whether I win or lose there. So just do one micro, mate. But remember, even if you do micro at 1 tick, even if you lose every one, it'll lose about $3.5, $4 a day. So just make sure you've got enough in the tank to withstand, you know, maybe an extra $20 on top of your 3,000 if you've got 3 or 4 days. Let me have a look at this. Okay, so I think I'm going to adjust this now. Let's put that like that. Okay, you see that working in there? So that's my top tier. So when I bring it here, most of this now is working in this top tier. So I kind of like that, I do. Now, you could say there's a bigger channel there, or you could say, forget this bottom part, just go with the top part. So this could be the top part. So you've kind of got both of your options there. It is a second entry short, yeah, but we've had a break out of the channel I had drawn, so I would rather give it a chance to work lower. And then if we do continue down, I expected a break there because we're clearly coming further and further away. But now we seem to be working. Look how nice that's working in that tier there. So it's above the EMA. EMA's a bit flat there, so I like to let it work first. Then I can establish we've got some more movement. And then go down, but this is looking better for me. This is looking good. The ATR's come nicely down, so that's good. So I would say we could end up having a really nice slow working trend channel down. But you've just got to be careful here because we have had a break. So it is early. It could. This could be the bottom of a range. We could end up pushing back up. It's possible. But there is a lower high there. But it looks to me like that's bottoming. So I'm not going to take this lower high because look, 1, 2, 3. We've bounced 4 times right off there. So it could push up. You know, I have mentioned a couple of times it may try and retest this. Usually, a lot of the times when we sort of have areas where we're bottoming so many times, you can clearly see it along there that we'll go down so far and then we'll might retest. So it's a bit early yet. So let's have a look. So 1, 2, 3, that could be a triple test. I'd like to not include that for that. It's just coming down. So we've had 1 test, 2 tests. If we can come down and get another test up here, a triple test, then I expect it to come down. But it does look like it's bottoming, but it also doesn't look like it's in a hurry to push up. So it's a bit of a sitting and waiting and just watching there. It's still a bit earlier on in the day, really, for it to give me a better picture of what's going on. A lot of the times it'll do this, you'll think, yeah, great trend, and it'll bounce a few times and then push up, and then we'll end up turning into a range. So I like to keep the options open and not jump in too early. I'd feel better if it went and tried to hit this area here. Not for me. I'm taking my 6 ticks plus something. Good for you, mate. Go to bed. Yeah, we know you're the other side of the world. So, as I expected, I think it'll try and retest this. So whether it does push up or not, I don't know. Yeah, you take it easy, Rodin. I'd like to see a leg, a break and a leg, and then a drop. But we may push back in. It may just be a range. It's possible. Took that small higher low for 2 points. Oh, yeah, that one there. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Can't argue with that. For me, I'd expect it to get up to here anyway and at least retest this. It may come back, a couple of legs, and just keep pushing up. Triple test, yeah. See, triple test is something I've tended to avoid it now, but I tend to avoid them in the direction that we're coming down. But it's not to say they don't work, but obviously you know a little bit more about taking triple tests than me. It's just not. I mean, we all have a certain arsenal when it comes to trading. I've generally stuck to lower highs, high lows, second entries, and failures. And I stay away from picking tops. I stay away from, but I am starting to pay more attention to triple test because they can be really lucrative. If you get a really good triple test after that third time, generally the market drops nicely. So, you know, what I plan to do this weekend is to go back over whoever's posted charts on the Facebook group and take a quick snapshot of every one of the triple tests and just work out how many points they went for. Because if 9 out of 10 have gone for over 5 points, I might start, you know, maybe picking 4 or 5 points on a really good triple test in a certain direction. Because if we're seeing triple test, I mean, there was one, what was it, a couple of days ago, and they just seem to really tank after that third time to push higher. Buyers give up and down it drops. It just tends to drop like a stone. So it is good to sort of try and work out how many points these certain types of trade generally go for. Because it help you get a little bit more money out of the market. It is a shame sometimes just to take a measly 1.5 or 2 points. If every time we get a real good second, you know, a real good triple test, it drops for at least 8 points. So J, I would have to get 8 points off my triple test winners. BC, is that because I get burned so often on them? Yeah, I've avoided them a bit, but when you see, you know, like a push down there, I'll show you a picture of one that came a couple. Oh, bloody annoying dogs. Sorry about that. Stop it, you. Stop it. I'll just drag one in quickly. Okay, this is Marco's one. He's a good, nice guy, Marco. He's a good trader. That one there. Okay, we clearly got this channel down. You can clearly see that. We pushed up once, twice, 3 times. Really nicely. That was a lot more obvious, that was. And then a nice bearish bar. And look at that, straight down. The first 3 bars went down for, I'd say, a smidgen over 5 points. A little bit of sideways, and then we came down. But there was definitely 12, 13 points there. But in fact, yeah. So, in fact, yeah, I just mentioned the trade I was looking at. It came down, and after that second time, that one came down a bit more than this, but it still worked. So, that's something to pay attention to. So, that's why I was being a bit hesitant there. But it's, where was I? Oh, sorry, that was where I was looking at. After the second one, we did drop a bit, but it wasn't as clear there. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as clear. I'd have preferred that one. In fact, yeah, maybe the body there. But even, yeah, after that one, what would you have got? Well, there's 15 points available there, you know. So after that triple test, I think sometimes it's best to be out. Even if you'd have sort of come down to the bottoms here, that'd have been a good 4 points. But, you know, I take 2 points, but I think it's useful that when we do get certain types of trades that are really lucrative, that you take advantage of them. So I might start going after these just for a flat 4 points, and that will give you a double trade. Big delta divergence if anyone uses it. I don't, mate. I don't even know what it means, to be honest with you. What does delta divergence mean? So let's have a look. So clear leg up there, break new high. So we've come above this. I thought we might just try and retest this. We've clearly come above this. So now we've got a leg down there. We may have a couple of legs of correction and then another leg down. So that's a possibility. Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, you know about here? No, I was just talking about this one. It wasn't as clear, that one, as a triple test, was it? It was there, but usually, if that had been further up, if that had been the red body there, I think that would have come down quicker. As it happens, we did have another attempt to go higher. So that might not have been a bad trade. In fact, I'd pretty much say Mac could mark that. We'll see. So, looking right. There's a little bit of a 1, 2, 3. There's a little bit of support there. Touch, 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 touch. So, in fact, there is. I suppose there is a leg, really. I wouldn't call that a 2-legged correction, though. That's just a leg and a leg, which has worked out perfectly. But I like, when we have a leg down, I like we have a push up like this, and then we have another push up, and then we come down. So, okay, so we've got a channel up here, we've got a break. Let's just adjust that a bit. That's okay, that works fine. We've got to break in a new high anyway. Whether you think there's a break here or not, I don't think so. A lot of the times we'll push up, we'll have a few bars side by side, and then we'll have another push up. So I'm happy that's in there, so that's clearly a break for me and a new high. So whether we have a couple of legs down and continue higher, that's possible. We could start ranging now. There is a possible leg break new high. Could be a couple of legs down, a push, higher, low, and then up again. It's hard to say at the moment. I think either is possible. Okay. It's a bit clear on the 1,000-tick chart. It does look like two legs, but it could either go up now or drop. And I'd say it looks like it's starting to drop. So we're below the EMA. Let's keep an eye on this. That's the official open. So push up. So we may get a move down. I'd like to push below here, really. Okay, leg and a leg, bullish bar triggered. That looks like a hidden second entry long that's triggered. I mean, you may do that if you want to be finicky. A small micro with a break and a new low after, so we could push up. It's hard to know what's going on at the moment. I think it is likely we could push up. It does look like I mean, with that strong push, and we're bouncing off this, so I think this is starting to look bullish now. In all fairness, this may just be your bottom of a range. We'll know in a minute. So that could be just a bottom there, and we may end up just ranging. I'll be looking for a higher low here. Leg. I know we've had a break in there. It doesn't mean it can't go up, continue up. So we've had a leg up, a two-legged correction. I think we'll have another leg up. Should take us up to these highs here. Okay, so let's see what happens. So this little channel is broke, played out. This little channel is broke, played out. And so far, price, it came below the EMA and then pushed up above the EMA. So now we've got a possible higher low. It could still come down, so it's a bit pie in the sky at the moment. Okay, so excuse me just for 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, down we come. So, once we get below here, if we can get below here, then I expect that to come down. Let's have a look. In fact, there was a second entry short on the 1,000 tick chart, but it was a little bit too far away from the EMA. 5 points, yeah. It's just not something I use in this particular strategy anyway, so. Okay, working down to a new low. We're a few ticks away. Okay, new low. There we go. Beautiful. So, I did expect it to retest this. I didn't expect it to push in, but anyway. Okay, we've made a new low. So now are we continuing down for another leg? It's possible. Or it's possible it may range and this just may be a fell breakout. It's so hard to say. Okay, in all fairness, that actually fits. Touch, 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 So I'm happy to say that's working in one channel. Touch, touch, touch. Hmm. Hmm. What may happen now is we may go sideways for a bit. There's a possibility this could be a bigger channel. It's only a possibility. I've just gone from there to there, and it may sort of go like that for a bit up until here. Hard to say at the moment. This is just purely a rough guesstimate, if you like. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm just going to draw this for a bit of fun, just to see if we do get anything like that. Actually, that looks better. Still think we're going to come wider. This is just pure speculation, so don't pay too much attention to it. May get a quick drop now. You done, are you, Sam? Good on you, mate. Just going to get that rid of that a minute. Make it a bit clearer. Touch. Let's see what happens now. Bottom in a bit there. See if we can get over here. I do expect to still come down and hit that. Sideways to here would be nice. Okay, so we've come down. So we've pushed across here and dropped, but then we've pushed up once, come back and pushed up twice. So if we can get a triple test up here, that may be nice. So there is a lower high there, but personally we're going sideways, so that's risky for me. I drew this channel. For me, I think it's likely we're going to go sideways until we get here. That's just my personal opinion. So taking a lower high there is risky. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but we're clearly got an issue down here with getting lower. So I wouldn't be taking that 2 ticks away from this. Okay, so let's put that there. See if we can adjust this somehow. Oh, not 13, that's unlucky. Let's go for 14. Okay, so we've come from here. Do you have any lag? I haven't, not as at the moment. Let me just check everything's working okay.
Order submitted.
Sell limit, are they moving okay? Yeah, nothing
Order
at the moment, mate.
canceled.
Everything's working all right for me, bud. That'll teach you to buy cheap computers. No, everything's working okay for me. Anybody else? Anybody else having problems? Not sure if it's rhythmic. I'll tell you what has been happening lately. Our green limit orders have been turning bloody orange and freezing. I did put a couple of posts on a couple of the Facebook groups just to see if anybody else, and a few people had, but might just be worth a go of just shutting everything down, bud. Just you know, getting rid of your cache and that sort of thing, and then just rebooting it and see if that helps shut your computer down. Won't do any harm, I suppose, will it? You had a few minutes ago, and that really helped. What? That really helped with my... Oh, the yeah, absolutely. The yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, what you can do, just try it. Just try this, Speedy. Just down the bottom here, where it's got your date. Just right click on that and click adjust time. It's popped over that screen, and then just click sync and see if that helps. Mine's okay because of that thing I downloaded, but just give that a try, mate, if your lag's a bit high. It just, apparently it affects your slippage a bit, because mine was in the red today. I couldn't figure it out, and then I ended up losing, I don't know, $20-30 on something on one of them. So, touch. Maybe this is confirming this channel. We'll see. Or it's possible we've got a spike and something else. I don't know. It's a bit early to tell at the moment. Absolutely. I've had no issues since. None. Yeah. Still a bit unsure. It's a little bit congested here, so it's a little bit unclear at the moment. I think it's likely to get down here, but whether it will do it straight away or not, I don't know. There's a little bit of congestion there. Just a fraction. So you've got to be a little bit cautious. So touch here. It's looking okay, that channel. It's looking okay. But there's also the possibility there could be something larger from there to there, because that kind of fits on the back. So it's a bit, I don't know, pie in the sky at the moment. And it's free, absolutely. Okay, so quick, nice drop there. So that seemed to work okay. That, I think that confirmed it as a channel, and so far so good. So this is where I expect it to hit anyway. Yeah, there's just no trade there really. I mean, you have got a bearish bar, but it's clearly sideways, so you don't know. And I'm not 100% confident this channel's okay. However, it is looking better. But clearly clearly sideways, extra risk there, but at the end of the day, it just dropped. And that's the case sometimes. Sometimes you don't have an option. There is a lower high there, a second entry short, but the trouble is we've got that same congestion issues there. So you just got to be aware of it, that's all. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. And in all fairness, we've come from once. I'm not convinced this is guaranteeing that this channel's right. That's better, but we've still got congestion. So it's just one of them things really. But I'd say we're a few seconds away from this measured move hitting anyway. So it's all good. There we go. Bang, right on the button. So you can see how effective these measured legs are, but look how that's just touched that and then just popped off a bit. Beautiful. So we had a leg down, a break, and another leg down. Unfortunately, I much prefer those when they have a leg, a break, and a leg, and then come down. And this one didn't. It just pushed straight up, really. So I had to ask myself the question, are we coming down? So I didn't know whether we're just going to come down and bounce off these lows and then push up into a range. But obviously we pulled back here. No entry here, no entry here. A little bit cautious here. And then same here. And unfortunately, right the way down to where I expected it to hit, right on the nail. But unfortunately, no setup. But there you go. Sometimes you can't have it all. I still feel we are in a trend. I'd like to see a break here, up here again, and then maybe I think it's highly probable that we may. I don't know. Jumping ahead a bit there. So have we finished, or are we still coming down? So far, we're working. It's like a two-tier. This we pushed down, worked in this tier a bit, worked across, worked in this tier a bit. So far so good. So possible second entry short there. You've got to be careful because we have seen that measured move out. Okay, second entry short there. Trouble is, it's a bit far from the EMA. Let's have a look at that one there. Yeah, as soon as it pushed above, as soon as it broke below there, it's a second entry short. Trouble is, it's risky in my opinion because we've played out that measured move. Doesn't mean to say it can't come down, but you've always got to be a little bit cautious there. So far I'm happy that touch. I'm happy that that's a channel. So let's see what's likely to happen. Yeah, I think there's a leg there and then another leg there. So I think we could come down some more, actually. It's weird, isn't it? Sometimes you look at these things and think, Christ, we come all this way, surely we can't go down anymore. And then 10, 20 minutes later, we're down another 15 points. So sometimes when you think it can't come down anymore, it just continues on down. So look, there's a second entry long there and a failure. Try go once, try go twice. Second entry long, which is triggered, but it's a bit sideways, so you've got to be careful. Okay.
Order submitted.
Okay, there was a possible second entry short, but it's turned into
Order
a neutral
canceled.
doji. So I'm just going to have to leave that one. We're getting a little bit more of this sideways stuff like this, but as long as it holds here, I think we're okay, but it's definitely pulling some... I don't know, I'm waffling there. It's definitely pulling. Definitely holding something there. So I still think we may get a bit of a break and we may come from this top, so that may widen. If you notice, we're coming further and further away from here. So I think we're going to end up doing something like this. That's the original channel I drew. So I'm going to leave that there because I think we're going to come... I think we're continuing down, I do. But I'd like to come over this side. We touch. Let's see if we got anything from Mac yet. Yes, excellent. Primo good. See what Uncle Mac's got for us this morning. Okay, so he hasn't got this second one down yet. He's finished his about here. So, but this one is exactly the same. That's the same. Yeah, he's got no channel there, but let's see. I have a feeling this is a channel. Usually we go from that top there to that first swing, which would take us to there. Touch. It's perfect down there, which tells me we're working in this tier. So as we've pushed above this, I'd like to get across to this side. And if we hit this side nicely, then that 3 touches confirms this bigger channel. I like that. It fits nicely. Let's just get rid of that. It fits nicely in this bottom tier. Those first 2 bits of swings are in the front tier. Then we had a strong push down. We're working in this tier. And now we're pushing up. So these seamless ending trends can be always easily stopped in the tracks. You finally decide to take... It's always a way, mate, that, isn't it? When you finally figured out you're in a downtrend and you take a short, you end up getting trapped. Yeah. Yeah, granted. I am cautious. I'd like to see it hit this and then maybe work down and then take a lower high. But I can't see anything there that's really sort of got me interested. But you know, it's certainly got bearish on the plate anyway, that's for certain. We've got a leg and a leg. So whether we'll have a break and we'll come up here and we'll end up having a bigger overall channel, who knows? But you've got to be cautious. But I did draw that earlier, touch. So I'd be interested to see where this closes, because if this closes right on the nail, that has to mean something. I've just picked a random spot here by joining these two together. If that hits it, it's got to play a part, in my opinion, especially when you take into account how it's working down that side. The back side has to play a part. And if you look, it's working in there, and look, we've come close to it, and then drop it. We'll see. That's not sucking me in. I want to see a little bit more than that first. I want to see it get close to this, and then start working down, and then I may be interested. But yeah, but you have got to be careful that sometimes. Sometimes you wait and you wait and you wait, and you think, okay, it's touched 55 times. Now I'm going to go short, and all of a sudden it stitches you. So, yeah, it actually even looks a bit better on the 1,000 tick chart. I'm just going to bring the 1,000 tick chart, what I've got above my head. Touch. It actually touched perfectly there. And look at the backside. You can't deny that. Touch. And we've gone right from here, that first, right at the top to that first swing, and look how that's touched perfectly. You're not telling me that's random. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, for me, it's a no-brainer. So look. Can adjust that just a fraction. What's the backside like? Yeah. I'm usually pretty good at picking these channels anyway. It's one of my stronger points to my trading amongst my many weaker points. Okay, let me see if I think I've missed anything. Can't take anything there. Can't take anything here. Same again there, it's congested. Nothing there, it's congested. Nothing really here. We just, for me, just confirming this. The way that's pushed down, I'm happy that I've read that right. 1, 2, 3. You may have taken that triple test. You may have taken that high or low. I don't think they were bad trades. It's just a little bit troppy, and I was looking, is that the bottom of the range, which is 1. I was sort of a little bit cautious and decided to leave that there. So sideways again, bit of sideways, and then obviously that break. No entry with the break, just straight up. So there'd have probably been something there. I'll be surprised if Mac doesn't mark that triple test and that lower high possibly. The only bit that concerned me is I'm thinking we've already dropped and hit what may be the bottom of this channel at this range. So that's what just made me be a little bit cautious there. But I'm okay. I'm happy to take one trade a day, and I want it to be right. If I've got some doubt, then I've got no problems at all with leaving a trade. But yeah, so that was the original trade channel I'd drawn. So we touched there perfectly, and hey presto, look, we pushed up there right on the nail again. you just can't pick a tiny pinpoint there and get it to hit and call it luck or random. So oh dear. Someone's just put a post on the Apex group. Today was a horrible day for me. Had 7 PA accounts up over $18,000. Boom, all accounts blown. Oh, flipping hell. We're messing up stops, didn't trigger prices, didn't move on the charts. P&L was getting destroyed. Ouch. $18,000 on 7 accounts. Oh, that's gutting. So 7 accounts, $2,500 each. He'd have had $2,500 in those 7 accounts, another $100 in them, and he could have withdrawn $14,000. I'm sorry, that's a bloody heartbreak, that is. I'm really shocked, actually. I mean, I've only got 4 accounts with over $2,000 in, and I'm super cautious with them. Bloody Nora's right, mates. I couldn't put that better. Oh, that's terrible. That is $18,000 like that. Oh, that's bad. You know, I do feel like now, like I'm way more in control of my emotions than I was. So I like to think I wouldn't do that, but you never quite know. But I get actually extra cautious now, which I think is a good thing. I'd rather be too cautious than careless. But $18,000, literally 7 accounts. It was ready to withdraw. Oh, that's heartbreaking. He could have just withdrawn $2,000 out of each of them if he wanted to, and then blown them off, and at least he got some money to carry on. Heartbreaking that. Christ, I'll be out walking looking for a bridge to throw myself off. Oh, that's heartbreaking, that is. Yeah, I don't like to see anybody having tough times like that. I mean, I don't know how the hell you would work to keep it like that and then throw it away, but it just goes to show how powerful emotions can be sometimes. They can really mess with your head. I still trade evaluations a bit carelessly, I've got to say, but my PAs, I'm a lot more cautious with. So what I'm seeing now is this channel is clear for me. Touch, touch, touch. It's working beautifully along the back, but at the moment, what I'm seeing now is a strong push down and maybe a loss of momentum. So look at the distance from here to here. It's almost touching, isn't it? Same here, touching here. Here, we're starting to gain a little bit of distance. So these are areas when things can break. Markets can break. And usually, if they do break, or sometimes, shall I say, if they do break, we may end up pushing up and get. No, I'm not a fan of that actually, because even if we go at the bottom, we're still way away here, so probably not. But a lot of cases will break and then start to form a larger channel, but maybe not. But yeah, I'm seeing a bit of distance from here, and a little bit of sideways, which is telling me that we may have a break. Bullish divergence. Funny you should say that, with me mentioning coming away from there, and it's almost bottoming, isn't it? So yeah, we may get a bit of a push. I mean, after the break after that, we got way more of a push than I thought. I thought we'd have a couple of legs up, retest these, and then we come down for this second leg. But it just goes to show, sometimes the markets are mega predictable. You know, well, I said, from what I see in here, I think we're going to have a break, and we did. And in a lot of cases, we'd have a leg, breaking a leg, perfect measured move, and then another leg down. But I didn't see that. I'd say there's 2 legs there. You're looking at that little red bar, which are dividing those 2 green bars, which is probably somewhere around the middle. But we've certainly got the 2 legs. That's worked out. We clearly pushed through that. So let me have a look. ATR's not dropping anymore. So yeah, this may be a bit of a change. Could get some upwards movement. But sometimes when you think it can't go down anymore, half an hour later it's come down another 20 points. So you just never know. So listen, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. But it's sorting itself out. Just a few minutes, maybe, whatever, just to make a quick cup of tea. So I'll be back in 5 minutes with a nice, hot, sweet cup of Yorkshire tea. Let me have a look. Yeah, okay, 5 minutes, a few minutes. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Leg. Yeah, I'm only looking for shorts. I'm not saying we're not going to push up, but I can't go long just yet until we push up and maybe make an attempt to go lower. Now, although we've had 3 touches here, and I kind of like that, there is a possibility that we could just go up. Let's just plonk that there a minute. So, that recounts there. So, first entry, there's a failure there. There's a shortish bar, but it's triggered, but not really convincing. So, trouble is with these, what I found is lately they're pushing out a lot more when we have a break. I mean, look at this channel. We had a really strong push up. It didn't seem like a year or two ago we were getting maybe a little push up and then straight away coming down and making a new low. But in a lot of cases, it's pushing out and going quite a bit further before it eventually comes down and retests the lows. So I think that channel's good enough to warrant coming down. But it is possible it could. I would like to see it come down. Okay, this might be a short trap here. Excuse me. We got a little channel there. I'd quite like to see that push up and have another go at that. But it depends. It's pretty bearish at the moment. Although someone did mention a key tree starting to see a bullish divergence. Okay, so we've had a break. It does look like you can't take anything there really. It's all pie in the sky really. It looks like there's a channel. I've seen breaks out of these sometimes. People go short, it pushes up, makes a new extreme, and then starts working down again. But I'd say it's highly likely we're going to break the lows there. What I've found a lot of the times, if you go short here, sometimes it won't break the lows, but usually if you put your take profit where the actual bodies finish or no lower, a lot of cases it'll trigger them, but sometimes won't break a new low. I've noticed that. So just keep that in mind sometimes if you're going short. Just note where it goes. See if it... okay, so we've had a matching low there. So we've got a leg and a leg. Okay, new low for the day. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see what happens then. Now. Obviously a few stops below there. So we've come down a reasonable amount. We've dropped 62 points, 63 points. Just wondering whether I can incorporate this or not. Probably can actually. Okay, so that works just as well. Touch, touch, touch. And I think, yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. It's a larger channel. No argument from me there. I like that. Touch, touch, touch. Works just as well on the backside. No argument there. And then look, thinking maybe some bullish stuff, and then woof, what? We dropped 5, 10, 15 points straight down. No entry really. Can't take anything there. We got a little channel there, so a strong trend. It's hard to find goods. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Yeah, it is frustrating really when you see these big moves and often nothing. I mean, there's nothing there. You can't take anything there. Pure guesswork if you go short there. I mean, you know, you mentioned some bullish divergence, and the way that was bottoming, and it made sense. So we little channel there, and then boom, drop straight down from 135 to 120, 15, 16 points straight down pretty quickly. God, if you had a little bit of, if you knew what the market was going to do 2 minutes before you did it, you'd be a rich man. Well, what a superpower that would be. In fact, if I ever got offered a superpower for any reason, I think that would be it. Being able to see the markets 15 minutes ahead. Wow, that'd be good, wouldn't it? You'd be a very rich man very soon. Yeah, see, when we had that break and drop, I thought there's got to be a channel here somewhere, a bigger channel, and all I've done. The good thing about being the distance between there and there, you can move this quite a bit, and it only literally takes a micro off that. So, 1 minute. We'd all be millionaires. Yeah, we certainly would. Wouldn't that be nice? I often dream about that. I've mentioned this before. For you older people out there, there used to be a program on TV maybe 20 years ago. What's it called? Used to be knock on. This guy used to open. It was an American program. He used to open his door, and there used to be a cat sat outside with tomorrow's newspaper. I forget what it was called now. Someone will remember it. Wouldn't that be nice? Somebody email you the night before, email you tomorrow's chart. Wouldn't that be great? I have weird dreams like that. I do about getting stuff like that. Forget what the program, it'll come to me. It's something news or something, I can't remember what it is. A max holy grail 1, draw a key entry point, wait to hit the key entry point, wait for a second entry with a good signal bar high or low. Yeah, that's all you can do. It is frustrating when you see this big move, but you know, to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as much because I know it's my job to look and wait for entries, and it doesn't matter whether the market comes down 200 points. If there's no entry, you don't take a trade. Period. And the only time you do take a trade is when you don't get setups, is when you want to blow an account, and I've done that many times. But after a while, you learn it just is not worth it, and after a while, you just give up even trying. You rarely see me making stupid trades now. I'll take a trade that I believe to be a good trade, but maybe 6-7 months ago I go, oh, look at this, it's coming down without me, and then I'll just click sell, and say, oh, I hate missing all this move. Guarantee the second you do it, it turns around and stops you out. So you just give up trying in the end because it's just a waste of time. You think you can gamble and get lucky. You can do, and you will get lucky, maybe 1 in 10, but you can't run a business based on getting 1 in 10 trades, right? It's about the worst business in the world. Okay, second entry short. We've had that push down, 2 legs up. Actually, that might not be that bad. because we've had that strong leg down there like that. Second entry short. Oof, tempting. It's a little bit further away from the EMA that I like. So I'm just going to sit tight a minute, actually. Okay, there's nothing here anyway. There was one. I'm going to drag it in on the 10,000 tick chart, but something I didn't like it. You can see that, can't you? Leg up, bearish bar. But there's something. Shit, Okay, I think that's an okay trade, that.
Order filled.
I didn't mean to do that. Let's have a look. I'm just going to go for a 1.5. Damn it. I made a mistake there. I made a mistake. A big mistake. Ooh, please come down. I made a big mistake there. No, it didn't trigger. I made a mistake. It is a second entry. I think it'd be okay, but it's a stupid mistake. I need it to trigger.
Order filled.
Thank Christ for that. It was that nice of a bar, I made a stupid mistake. I mean, to be honest with you, that's an absolute steal. And the way it pushed up, you see how quick it dropped? So when we had that leg up, there was a load of shorts there, and that just dropped quickly. So usually, when you get that many shorts enough to move a bar that quick, it's coming down. So that clearly worked beautifully. Shit myself then. But in all fairness, you may have taken that on an engulfing, so you'd already be in that trade. But that was a nice trade. We got leg down. We're clearly in a downtrend. Two beautiful legs up. You can't argue that. And that's probably why I just jumped in it a bit too randomly. But there you go. But it's a lovely trade. Textbook trade, that is. Absolute textbook. Which is why I jumped in. Now, a lot of the times, Mac will go, if you take that on an engulfing, so as it pushes above, you put it there. So where did I get in there? Okay, I got in one tick below the low of it. So if you took on the engulfing, that's fine anyway. So I don't know too much. Mac doesn't teach much about the engulfings. I get what it is, but it was yeah. I get what it is, but I don't necessarily understand the benefits of it. Because what's stopping it from going up there, coming down, triggering that, and finishing on its high? That's what I don't quite understand. I'm gonna have to get a bit of feedback on that later. But I think the bar looked nice big. That I just got a bit too excited. In all fairness, the way it dropped. Sometimes when they drop, obviously as we pushed up, I'm assuming it was because the engulfing it dropped that quick, which tells me there's a lot of sellers in that. So. That went down for 3 points, so don't want to trade engulfing because it has big stop loss. Oh, is that the reason? Is it okay? How big's the bar? Oh yeah, 3.75, so it's 4.5. So is that the only reason you do it? Is it because of the bigger stop loss? Is that the only reason? I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? So, okay, so yeah, no argument there. I mean, that was clear 2 legs, wasn't it? We got a channel. You can't argue with that channel. There's 100% no break there. We've come off these highs. Just wait for the bar close. Well, if I'd have taken the engulfing, I'd have been in it even earlier. So, yeah, okay, so it just looked like a perfect setup. And in all fairness, it was. They don't often look better than that, do they? 1 leg, 2 legs. We rarely get second entries that look that neat and that obvious. So a 6. I kind of like 6 ticks at the moment with the markets being so choppy. I'm all right with that. So let's have a look. So second entry short. Oh shoot. Plus 1.5 points. Yeah, if you trade the engulfing bar, use something a little. Hold on a sec, mate. For some reason, I have a little heart icon, which is over the words. Oh, is that cheat? You cheat a little bit by going into the bar to save a few ticks. Oh, okay, so that's the main reason behind it, is it? So if you think one leg, it's two perfect legs. The way that's come up there like that, I suppose if you put an order there, it's coming from there to there, isn't it? So just in itself, it's bearish. Right, okay, so yeah, it's because of cheating a bit. Fair enough. Fair enough. But nice setup anyway. And so adjusting that to where I originally had it worked perfect there, didn't it? So there's no argument there. We've got a leg down, two legs up, back to the EMA. Nice big bearish bar. Big B in the word, and then a drop. So I'm pleased about that. So I've just stuck $600 into my PA account. So happy days. Yeah, so I've managed to build my accounts up to $9,000 now. Bearing in mind I've already had 2,000 out of them, so that would have been 10, 11. So they are building. They're taking a bit more time than normal, purely and simply because conditions are a bit tough. So we got a leg there. That could be another leg. But in all fairness, it's probably not a bad trade there. But I kind of like when I get one trade, I kind of like not taking any others. Then one I think is a nice number for me. If I can concentrate hard and just get one nice setup a day, even for 1.5 points, that gives me an average of $750 a week. Once my accounts start to grow, then I'll have a bit more confidence in maybe staying in trades a bit longer, or at the EMA. Yeah, to be fair, it's textbook that. We've got a beautiful trend channel down there. We've got one leg up, two legs, right to the EMA. But what I found is a lot of the times when you see that bar go up and it dropped, I'm assuming by that, the way we had one leg, two leg, there's some sell orders there. I'll look back on that, but it dropped quick. Now, for a bar to drop that quick, there's got to be some sellers in there. And with that dropping quick and the perfect second entry long, I'm just quite surprised it only came down that far, because with a trade like that, usually you'd have think we may get another strong push down, but it's come down 3 points and gone a bit sideways. Yeah, that was a nice, no doubt looking entry. Only get a handful of those a week. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, mate. That's probably the reason why I jumped in there a bit too eager. I was like an excited dog pissing myself there, I think. But that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because you rarely see trades like that. When you see them, you're thinking, sod waiting, I want fucking in. Excuse my French, but you do, don't you? You get one that's that good, and you think, sod waiting, I'm in. It was just the way it dropped. Yeah, I agree. If you can see three of them in a week, you've not done too bad, have you? But trades like that, in all fairness, just do not. Whenever have you seen a trade that good that's failed? Whenever do you see that? Never. You really don't. So that's the thing I like about this price action trading. When you get these really good trades, they just do not fail. I don't think I've seen one fail like that, ever. So I think it's fair to say they're 98, 99% accurate. Maybe if you get some sort of weird news or something, maybe something like that just jumps in. And but apart from that, they just don't sell. Very little volume above the bar, so when the sellers jump, the volume increase a lot. The sellers entered the move, price lower. And you see this, yeah. So obviously people are selling that, aren't they? But I'm surprised it's... In fact, in all fairness, I think now, I would say, because we've come way past that measured move, I would say this is what I believe is going to happen now. We're going to go sideways to here, then we're going to have another good strong move down. we've got a leg down, sideways, and then another leg down. Now, I'd put money on that, but I'm not going to take a trade on it because I'm kind of happy with me one at the moment, unless I see an absolute sitter. But what I tend to do is, when I've got a nice trade like that, I may just trade one account or something. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes I pick my lowest account and try and build that. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty much going to go sideways until we get a nice bar here, and then I expect another leg down. So from there to wherever we get a bar from, I'd say something like that. Perhaps a deeper correction could happen too. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I did say earlier there is always a possibility. I don't think so, because the bottom doesn't look good. There's a chunk missing out the bottom. I thought, you know, it may do something like that, but that doesn't look right to me. We've come to the bottom there, and look at this, we come nowhere near it. So I don't think that's... we may just have a leg down, a stronger leg, and then who knows, we may have push up and something else by the end of the day, who knows. But in this strong downtrend, when we go sideways like that, we almost always go to the side like this when we go side. It's just basically getting close to here. We get a really nice bearish signal bar, and that. The more bearish the signal bar, the more traders are going to get in that. And if the traders get involved in that, then they're just going to push it straight out. Straight out at the bottom, in my opinion. In fact, probably more inclined to put that like that. But I hate taking another trade when I'm up one. I'm going through that phase of being nervous about it, but I'd rather be nervous and not take one than to be taking stupid trades. Okay, so this may be the one. Second entry short. I'm not taking it, but I'm guessing. If this finishes bearish, this might be the one that the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. Let's see how it finishes. But it's come back to the right place. I can micro adjust this, and it won't really have any bearing on anywhere else. But yeah, look at that. Second entry short, right at the key entry point. Well, you can tell, can't you? Traders are seeing that and jumping in on that light, but I'm not getting involved. But for me, that's the one that's going to send it down. Triple test, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Trouble is, it's 16 points, that is. 16 ticks, sorry, tick above, tick below. I'm staying out of it, but yeah, I agree. It's a triple test, so leg down. I expect another leg down. But once my accounts build a bit more, the trouble is I'm close now to a payout again. So once my accounts get over $5,000, then I'll get into these setups a bit. But things are going well for me at the moment. I am one trade on one away from the 2.6 and 2 trades on another. So 2 more trades and I'll be on 2,600 on all of them. The plan is to take out in a month's time. So by that time, they should be nice and comfortable. But, you know, once I start to see, you know, regular money coming in every month and my accounts are looking nice and healthy, then, you know, trades like that, I'll get in. It's okay to have a bit of a pullback. After that strong push down, then I expect a little bit of a pullback. But I think it's, for me, that's the one that's going to send it down. But it is rather big. What was it? 16 ticks, 17, tick above 17, 18 ticks. What's that? 5, 4.5 points, something like that. Tick above that, trigger some longs, and then give us a lower high to go short. In fact, I'll be amazed if that does push above there. It is a triple test, but I much prefer the triple test when they push up and then drop and they sit like that. If there'd have been a bar like that there, then that a little bit smaller, then I may have considered going into that. But that's the type of bar I like, that's pushed up and dropped and sitting right below that line, nice and hugging the underside. Okay, so I think this will be the lower high. Wow. Wow, that's why I didn't get it in that triple test. In fact, I think it's risky anyway because it is so big and we are sideways because, you know, we're close to the bottom of the channel here, but we've come away a little bit here, so it's always a possibility it might not work. I'll be surprised if it does, because, you know, there'll be some stops in that one. I'll be surprised if it does. I think it'll have a drop last minute. Yeah, it's 4 points. Tick above. Yeah, there we go. Tick above, tick below. It's a 4.5 point risk. I think that's a bit much. If this finishes, but okay, that surprised me. I can actually take that back a fraction and just lift this a tiny bit, and it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, that's coming down, I think. Triple test, but I won't sell now. Yeah, I think it's coming down, but it is a big risk, isn't it? I expect it to come down, but you just don't know whether it might push up one more tick and then come down. But for me, it's looking like it's coming down. Good job on that entry. Strong downtrend with engulfing Barnaby. Yeah, thank you, mate. Textbook's second entry short, that, isn't it? It does look like it's bottoming, so I'd expect there to be a few shorts. Sorry, a few long stops just below there. So I think when we push below there, that'll be the catalyst for a second leg, I think. I expect it to go now. We're getting bearish after this initial one. We tried to come back, didn't we? We didn't quite get there, and for me, this is the way down now. I don't think we'll have another push back up now because that'll take us out this channel. Okay, here we go. I think once we get below there, sellers will jump on that then. Once it gets below there, then I think it'll drop quite strong. Yeah, there we go. We're below there now, so we'll come down now quite strongly, I would say. We're at the lows of the day here. We've gone sideways, but that was the sort of the only bar really I would have got involved in, but it was that big, so I just stayed out of it. But then obviously when we had this, tried to push higher, and that dropped one last go, and then down. So I expect to get this measured leg out of the way. So it seems to be a nice trending day. So at least I've got something out of it. It is a shame sometimes when you see all this movement, and not only this movement, we forgot about all this as well. So there's been a fair old chunk of movement down, and it is frustrating when you see it all, but there's no entry in, which, as somebody mentioned earlier, often happens. So yeah, we're down nearly 70 points there from the overnight highs. So a little bit of a pullback, and then some more downwards, I would assume. My second channel looks no good. What second channel? That there? I don't know, I like that. That looks spot on to me. You said that the other day. I had the bigger channel. And you went, have a look. Mac's got it, and Mac did have it. But if you notice at the end of the video, Mac went, actually, this other channel looks a bit better, and that was the one I had. So I'm just looking at a bigger picture here. We touched here, we touched here, we touched here. We're working down here. It's fitting nice there. I'm happy with that. You've got to do what, you know, you've got to do. But I agree, Mac had it differently. But if you notice at the end of the video, he said you could have traded it like this, how he had it, or you could have traded it the other way, how I had it. And then he said, actually, I think it looks better the second way, which is the way I originally had mine. So, but, you know, I understand there's differing opinions. There's going to be with this sort of thing, because it's not black and white. But I'll always look at it. And if someone says, I think it's this or I think it's that, I'll always have a look and adjust it. And if it is wrong, or I think it fits somewhere better, then I will move it. But I still like that. We've had that break, and we've gone right from the top. We've touched here, touched here. You can clearly see it's working there. Whether we'll have a break at some point, I don't know. But I like it. I like it. And I like the way it's almost like a two-tiered. It's working that there's working in that bottom sort of tier, isn't it? So we're going to have a break finally here, are we, or what? Mac should send his chart 3 times a day. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice that, or even twice a day, maybe an hour after market opens, and then maybe another hour. It wouldn't take him a second, would it? Right-click, save, post. Yeah. Well, you could always message it, mate. You could only say no. Always worth a go. Okay, so maybe we are getting some upward stuff now. Who knows? No, he should just man up and live. No, he should just. Sorry, you get a little heart on the icons where the what's it is, so I can't see that last word until someone else types something. No, we should man. No, we should man up and live something, and live stream. That's it. Oh, live stream. Sorry. It's all right. That last word is covered by a little icon until I can see it. Live stream like me. He's been asked to. He has mentioned it in the past before, but I sort of started my PA accounts with live trading. So I've, I don't know. For me, I'm, what's the word? I'm choosing my words carefully here. I'm an out loud thinker. Some people think quietly in their head. I talk to myself. I've always been the same, and it's just thinking out loud. So this kind of works for me. So you think I'm not concentrating on what I'm looking at and I'm chatting. I'm actually focusing exactly on what I'm looking at, and my gob's just working by itself. I have that lucky, let's have a look. I have that sort of a lucky thing of having a mouth that can work by itself. So you can only adjust these forever. So touch. Ooh, I don't know whether we're pushing out here or not. I'll allow it just that one little move, and then we'll see. But yeah, I have a gob which works by itself. Unfortunately, I'm a big mouth, so my gob just carries on by itself without lack of control. I think sometimes my mouth's about 3 seconds ahead of my brain, but I can talk and focus exactly what I'm doing at the same time, and it does. Sometimes if I talk out aloud what I'm thinking, it helps me hear it a bit clearer rather than, it going on silently in your head. But I don't think streaming, works for everyone. Some people like quiet and concentrate. But I'm sort of one of the lucky ones that doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Let's just pop that like that for now. Get rid of that. But I would. The trouble is, if Max started streaming, no one would pay him to learn, would they? They'd just copy him. If Max started streaming, I'd close down my channel and copy myself. But no, it is important to learn it yourself. But yeah, it's not for everyone. In fact, I did hear Matt mention something a couple of years ago that he had a friend who was a good trader, and he started live streaming, and it affected him. But he wouldn't need to live stream. He could just do like a Zoom call and just have no comments, but just trade himself. But the thing is, when people are watching, you don't know whether that'll affect how you do things. So yeah, it's not for everyone. Luckily, I've got a big gob, so it works all right for me. It doesn't even. No, absolutely doesn't. It doesn't need to talk. Yeah, I wish more people would live stream, in all fairness, but I get it doesn't suit everybody. Sometimes you get brutalised. Not very rarely, to be fair. Occasionally you'll get a shitty comment from someone. But they piss me off when I get them, but I kind of like it in a way, because I like to prove people wrong, and I like when someone says you can't do something. That's the worst thing to say to me, because I'll fight tooth and nail to be able to do it. So it kind of inspires me to, keep going and keep trying. So, because I think it's nice to prove all the naysayers, because you'll always have naysayers. You guys will have them in your life. I bet you guys have had people saying to you, well, what makes you think you can be a trader? You expect guys to come out of university with financial degrees hanging around their neck. Why do you think you could do it? You get stuff like that in life, but I kind of like it because I love rubbing people's noses in it when they say you can't do something. So I have adjusted that slightly, and it still works fine there. And the reason I'm leaving it at the moment, because it's actually working nice still. Now, I don't suppose you can keep adjusting these forever, but at the moment, I think it still looks okay. not only does it fit, it visually looks okay. If you look at this, the angle of it, working in this tier here, it works fine. Sometimes the angle of it can look different than the actual channel, but for me, it still looks nice. And if you squeeze them together sometimes, it makes it look even better. And if you look, you can clearly see that's working that channel beautifully. Push sideways, and now it's working this channel. So for me, it's a no-brainer, that channel. But yeah, I wish you would. So there's a failure there, but I'm not taking it at the moment. Triangle once, triangle twice. It's also a second entry long, which is triggered. Now, the last time it dropped out of here, it pushed back in, so it may do, but I don't think it will. I think it'll stop that out, personally, just because we're starting to tip. So as long as I've got this channel looking, as long as it's as good as I think it looks okay, then I think we'll continue down a bit there, but I'd still like to see that channel there. We got a channel there sideways, and I expect another channel down. And that's kind of nice bearish, and it's trapping those longs, so I'm pretty sure that's going to push below there. So I don't think it's a terrible trade, but I'm staying out of it at the moment. You know, I want something. If I'm going to take another trade, I want it to look as good as that, and that doesn't quite. But I do believe it's going to stop that out, and if it does stop that out, you'll have a point or so there, point and a half there, but there's no guarantees. It's a bit far away from the EMA, but yeah, on my second trade, if I do take another one, I want it to look as obvious as that, really. Okay, so that's the good thing about them failures. It traps some longs in there. There may have been some longs taking that, thinking, oh yeah, fair to break out. Last time we came out, it went back in. Maybe we're going to do the same. So you'd have certainly scalped a point out of that anyway. Yeah, it went down, point and a half. I still think we'll come down more. I expect to hit this measured leg. Touch, touch, touch. Yeah, we're coming down. In fact, it looks even better on the 1,000-tick chart. I'm just going to drag the 1,000-tick chart. Hold on. Oh, here horses. Yeah, look on the 1,000-tick chart, what we've just been looking at here. That was the one. It was a bit closer there. We sort of pull back there, push that, pull back there. The trouble is, it's not as good a trap though, is it? But it does look like we're continuing down. So sometimes things work better on. I think it's kind of a nice to have the 1,000. In fact, sometimes I think if you trade pre-market, you get more chance. I mean, I got 2 trades pre-market yesterday on the 1,000-tick chart. So maybe the 1,000-tick chart is more useful when markets are a little bit quieter, i.e. pre-market, because it gives you a little bit more. It breaks, obviously, the bars down, so you get twice as many bars, which gives you a little bit more detail, a little bit more movement. But obviously, if you look at it as well, it was more. See, on the 2,000-tick chart, that trade I took, excuse me, was a perfect second entry short. There, it was more of a visual second entry short. So there's our channel down one leg, two leg. So it looked, you can clearly see the two legs. I mean, by the count, it's not, because obviously we've got a low there and another low there, but you can clearly see it's a visual. But it certainly looked more attractive for me. I mean, in all fairness, it looks nice there. You can see that's visual, but it was more clear cut on the 1,000. You can clearly see one leg, two leg. But another good thing about doing the 2,000 tick chart is the risk slightly less because the ATR is lower. The ATR at the moment is just over 1.5 points, whereas it's just over 2.25 points. So there is more risk. In your bars are generally bigger, but nice looking bar on the 1,000 tick chart. Very bearish, nice looking bar, but unfortunately it's only a first entry. I think that's going to continue down. I'm going to say there may possibly be a trap there, but in all fairness, we're touching. That went up and dropped straight down to within here, so I'm okay that that's going to continue down. Watching mobile, nice trade lands. Oh, thank you, mate. That's about as textbook second entry short as you get, really. The only thing that would make that slightly better is that EMA slightly lower and sat right on the top of that, but it's a textbook one, isn't it? And in all fairness, we get about a quarter of the amount of those as we used to get sort of 12, 18 months ago. But in all fairness, you only need one of those to get some decent points. Okay, sorry about that. The only thing I don't like about Pat's system is poor performance in trend. This is a 50-point move. Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you get I don't know, say you take a trade like that, there's nothing stopping you holding on. But generally, part of Pat's is including runners. Now, Matt does say he wouldn't recommend doing runners any more than about 25% of your total. So 2 contracts, you just can't do it, really. You need 4 contracts. And in that case, if you took a runner there and you believe, you know, for me, that was the top of the tree there, and you can clearly see it, we've gone down since. So, you know, you may scalp that and you may still sort of have a runner if you'd have left it up there. But in all fairness, most of the time you bring it to break even. But if you did leave it there, you'd be sitting on, well, 8.5, 8 3/4, 9 points at the moment, and you can obviously sit and let it go. But yeah, it's certainly useful when you get to 4 contracts and above. But obviously you need the funds to be able to back that up. But what I will say is, if we had a setup like that here, after say 4 or 5 touches, if we had a setup like that good right here, right at the top of the tree, when we get right to the top, that's the best place to take the trade, right at the top. So if I did take a second entry there, then I quite happily take profit down and just get me stop to break even, and then follow it down, because, you know, if you can get the shorts in these big trends, that's where you want to take them, and, you know, just follow down each swing, and, you know, you may get 6, 8, 10 points or more. So you can get a week's worth of profits in one trade, but I only tend to move my profits like that when I know there's scope for downwards. And obviously this trade, although it's good, is in this tier. So you don't expect it to move massively, and it's moved sideways. But if it was over here on a strong trend, then, you know, you've got a good chance of getting a relatively easy 6, 8, 10 points and more. But obviously this is the place to take them, right at the top of the channels. But not such luck there. But if you did leave a stop here, then obviously there was, you know, a fair few points. But I know what you're saying, yeah. It does work better if you can have a runner, or you may be swinging them. Now, if you look at people like the Penguin guy, he goes for a minimum 1-to-1, and in some cases 1-to-2. So it's not. I think he averages 6 points a day, which I think is pretty respectable in all fairness. One of the most difficult issues with Pat's Max system is to handle a psychological multiple lots in a row that takes some times. Yeah, in all fairness, it's the only thing I've ever really known. I did trade currency when I first started. I did a mentorship with a British trader who worked in the London Stock Exchange during the 80s. He trades for himself now, and he has like a group. And I did a mentorship with him. So, you know, really I did 6 months with that, but the last sort of two and a bit years I've been doing this. So I've never known any different, really. Pat's has sort of been my main sort of learning. Yeah. We do seem to be continuing down, don't we? It doesn't seem really to be stopping. I mean, that's a fair old move there, isn't it? So just from here in that one move, there's 56, 57, 58 points. 59 points nearly to that measured leg, which is going to get hit. But so far from the overnight highs, 73 points, and it could continue down a fair bit more, really. Let's have a look. ATR's sort of floating around where it has been for a while. But we are getting lots of little. What I like, and someone else told me this, the more it comes down and goes a bit sideways, the more we build up structure and support. So obviously a bit sideways, then another leg, and a bit more sideways, and another leg. So the more chance it's got of continuing. So let me just have a look at that. That's come down. Sorry. Yeah, right on that measured move. One tick away from that measured move. Traders cannot recover from their losses because then they move their stop loss too far. Yeah, see, our stop losses go one tick. Sometimes I'll give it an extra tick, and sometimes it makes a difference. There was a triple test yesterday. If you had taken the first one or the second one, and if you put your tick one tick above or an extra tick above, it would have saved you. And I have heard Mac mention that before. If you look back, if you look on Mac's videos on YouTube, and you go onto his YouTube page, and then click earliest and go back and have a look. I said him move his stop 3 ticks once, and it saved his neck. So, and a lot of people, I know a lot of other traders may put their, you know, quite a bit more. We keep it quite tight, but I think that extra tick sometimes has saved me losing and obviously made me money. So, yeah, we're going down a bit, sideways a bit, down a bit. It is starting to look like we may get a, well, I trade NQ, I have good risk reward, much easier to handle. Losses, yeah. In all fairness, I tend to average around 2 points. Now, the ATR's a little higher at the moment, but going back a week or so for a period of time, it was under 2. So I was nearly getting 1-to-1. And I was getting around the 85%. So it's not a bad ratio. And what I have noticed as well, when you get really nice triple tests, the market tanks after. We had that one yesterday. Was it yesterday? Where was it? I can't remember where it was now. Was it the day before yesterday? Might have been the day before yesterday. We came down, we popped out at 1, 2, 3, and then it dropped about 12 points. So I'm going to keep an eye on those. They're a good way to boost your win rates by taking a few more points. So if you get a really nice, solid looking triple test with a nice bearish bar, they tend to really drop quickly. You know, it's not unusual for it to drop 8 or 10 points just in a few bars. So you can clearly make up the differences there, but unfortunately, if you'd have brought your, if you'd have taken a runner there, it'd have got stopped out on the way back up. So it doesn't always work, runners. But there's no sign of it doing anything bar continuing down. Okay, so more downwards. Yeah, there is a guy from the outskirts of London that does well, isn't there? I can't remember his name now. I love seeing stuff. Some people get funny. Somebody posted a couple of months ago that he'd earned X amount of people and he got slaughtered. I love it. I love hearing about people doing well because it just tells me that Apex pay and people genuinely do earn good money. So I love it. It inspires me. If he can do it, so can I. Yeah, I've got no problem with telling people how much, with people telling how much they're earning. Absolutely. As long as they're not bullshitting, right? But, there was a guy we had on the stream here earlier on. What was his name? DB something? DBJ? DBK? There was two, so I don't want to get them confused. The one guy was okay. But he just gave me a load of grief one night. He said, you should stop streaming, you should stop doing this. You're lucky, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you need to take advice for someone who's making 6 figures every month. And then I don't know, I put a post on one of the Facebook groups and someone says, he's full of shit. Like, so there are people out there who say they earn ridiculous amounts of money and they don't. But no, genuinely, if people are making good money, I love hearing those stories, I do. So it really doesn't look like it's going to slow down. ATR is starting to drop. But we're getting lots of structure. It's not just dropping. We're getting down, sideways a bit, down, sideways a bit. So there should be more nipes. I'm really surprised they haven't done. I know, is it Bullanox? Have got a video due out. Might be today, actually, where they've got 91% off. I'm surprised if Apex don't monitor the competition. You should. A good business. Part of a good business strategy is is monitoring your competition. And put it this way, in the first week, I earned more. Let me think. I earned more in affiliate in commissions in one day when we had the offer than I've earned in the last 10 days. So that tells you. So if you guys aren't spending with me, Apex aren't getting the money, and if it's happening all over. So I don't get it with Apex, because people won't pay the 50% off. They're not going to pay $75, so they're going to wait. And if you haven't got an evaluation, you can't have, reset one. So I'm really shocked that Apex haven't done something this week. I know they post on their sort of official Facebook group every couple of days that they've still got this offer, but then they just get bombarded with comments saying we want the 80, we want the 9% off. And usually Apex are pretty good, but I know they haven't sold much since they've had this, because I obviously, as an affiliate, I know what you guys, how many evaluations you'll buy when it's cheap compared to, So, there's sort of a triple test on the 1,000 tick chart, but I'm just going to drag it in. It is a little ways away from the, we've come down, we got 1, 2, 3. It's a bit sideways here, and there isn't, let me have a look. Between top and bottom, there's barely 2 points, so 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. There's a long there, might try, I don't know, but it's too far. That's a bit more like it, but at some point, I mean, we may just keep coming down all day, but it's equally as possible we could have a break. Podcasts with I'd worry I'd open my mouth and put my foot in it. I would. He has done them with a couple of traders before, hasn't he? I do have that horrible fear that I'm going to say the wrong thing and he's going to go, okay, here's your money, you can no longer trade with us, and then I'm sort of buggered. So I'd worry I'd make an idiot myself. But I am surprised whenever we, hear adverts of other prop firms bringing out these big discounts. I often think, okay, early hours of the morning, I'm going to get a message from Apex and nothing. So I'm really surprised. So I don't know whether Daryl Martin's in the middle of taking his holidays and someone else has got, the reins. Okay, seems that triple test on the, what's it worked? Okay, let's just drag that 1,000 tick chart and again and make it a little bigger. 1, 2, 3, triple test, nice bearish bar. My only slight concern there is we're going a bit sideways, but on a triple test, I'm not sure whether it makes a massive difference, but it certainly went for a couple of points, I would have suggested. Maybe not, actually. No, so it's a bit congested and there's not much room there, so yeah, I'm a bit extra cautious. I'm up nicely, see. Whatever happens, if I don't take a trade, I'm guaranteed to be $600 up in my accounts. If I take another trade, I may be more, but I may be less. So yeah, he's an interesting character, isn't he, Daryl Martin? Who's the other guy that works with him? I watched like a podcast they had, and it was always like good cop, bad cop. Daryl Martin was really nice, and there was another guy he seemed to be the sort of bearer of bad news. But I like Apex. I got to say they're obviously my choice of prop firms, and they just beat the competition hands down. Maybe obviously not at the moment with the lack of discounts, just at the moment. But I would have absolutely said we'll have one for Labour Day. It'd be nice to get the 90%. But I do like the fact that they do make things easier. I remember hearing a story of a guy that lost about $15,000. He accidentally left a trade open, and we went into close down, and he blew his account. And I think he had $15,000 in it, and he lost it all. And there was a bit of hoo-ha about it. And then Darren Martin made a video saying from now on, 1 minute due to, well, it's 10 o'clock UK time, market closes for it's about an hour, I think, isn't it? Or 45 minutes, whatever it is. But then he brought something in that the market would, or something to do with rhythmic or whatever, would automatically cancel any trades 1 minute before. So he didn't have to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know how the hell you managed to accidentally leave a trade open, because as soon as you go to close down Ninja Trader, it tells you still got a position open. Do you really want to close? But he managed to do it and blow it all, which was absolutely, would have been gut-wrenching. I don't know how the hell he did it. It was a bit stupid on his behalf, but it is good that then, Apex came forward and said, okay, so we'll make it now so that you can't do that. So I kind of like that. Wait, there's no slowing down, is there? ATR's starting to drop. It's closer to 2 now. And we're still continuing to go down and sideways. This looks like a really strong trend. Lots of little bars continuing down. And there may have been some... I'll be surprised if Mac doesn't mark a few of these, but look in here, bearish bar there, worked, bearish bar there, anywhere close to this, bearish bar there, worked, bearish bar there, worked. But yeah, no sign. Can I ask how many PA accounts you're blown? I am up to not that many. I'm up to 32, but I have 4 of them, so 32, 31, 30, 29. So I've blown 28. I think that's about right. 28. Yeah, I've blown 28, and I have 4 now, and another one going live the middle of next week. So 28. But I will tell you, I did mention this yesterday, but in case anybody didn't hear, let me have a look. Somebody posted, anytime, mate, anytime, Chris. Somebody posted, yeah, you like this. A guy put a post on saying, okay, some of you need to read this. Also, don't be discouraged. I've blown over 500 evaluation accounts and over 60 PA accounts. Probably over $20,000 in Apex investment. Got my first big payout just recently. Paid me $24,000, which covered all my investment in one payment. Also, another big payout due now. My most recent eval and PAs passed them the very first time and been consistently green. I promise you, this is one of those skills that you will finally hit it and it will all finally click. When it does, you'll be the most disciplined and strong version of yourself. I like that. I love hearing stories like that. So it just goes to show that even someone who's blown 500 evaluations and 60 peer accounts, that's a lot. I'm up to about 230, I think. But I've just went stupid idea. But I love hearing stories about, that just goes to show sooner or later your brain will start to work. It can't not. You can manipulate the body. I mean, you can turn a skinny guy who can't lazy get out of bed into a 250-pound bodybuilder in a few years, can't you? So you can manipulate the body and you can just as much manipulate the mind. And if you've just blown account after account, you can imagine how many times he sat on his chair and felt physically sick. At some point, your brain's just not going to allow that continuous punishment, and it's going to change. Now, I know they say there's a big failure rate in trading, 95%, some say 98%, but I genuinely believe it's not from lack of ability. It's from people just giving up, because it is tough and you do lose money. But if you continue to work and try, you'll get your rewards. I absolutely believe that. Trading's not impossible. Far from it. Anybody can do it. But many give up, and that's the difference. So if you don't give up and you keep persisting, and you may end up sitting there one night just chucking account after account and thinking, I'm never going to get the hang of this. But, you know, what you're slowly doing is forging your brain to work how it's supposed to. But because we're not designed to work like that, we don't have that amount of emotions on a day-to-day basis in our life. And then when you get into some sort of job where you do, at some point in time, you get used to it. All traders have battle failure. Absolutely. There's not such... I mean, you may get someone who's super focused and motivated. They are out there, which probably pick it up quicker than most. It's like anything. Some people pick things up. Excuse me. But some people are a bit... I'm stubborn as shit, I am. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I've done really stupid things. I remember sitting here one night... I opened a bottle of single malt scotch after trading. I had one, and about 2 hours later, I'd drunk half the bottle and blown 10 evaluations because I was frustrated and angry. And you do some stupid things. I've blown one, got another one, blown one, got another one, and I've done that nearly a dozen times in a day. But sooner or later, your brain starts to think, I just can't take this punishment anymore. I feel sick all the time. I'm frustrated and angry all the time. And something starts to change and you start to adapt. You can adapt your body and you can adapt your mind. Don't think you can't, because you absolutely can. So if you're passionate about it, something you want to do, do not give up. Just keep trying. Keep coming here every day and keep taking trades. You know, it's okay to blow trades and mess them up. That's how you learn. You know, I don't often get trapped now. But I used to get trapped all the time. But the good thing about getting trapped all the time is it does teach you where to stay out of, to identify areas where there's a trap likely. And you'll hear me say it now, oh, I'm not going to take that, I think it's a trap. And a lot of the times it'll trigger come down and stop you out. So by getting trapped and making these mistakes, it teaches you when to stay out and when to, to get in. So if it's your passion, your dream, and you want to have a decent life, you want to have more time for you and your family, just don't give up. But what I will say is learn to manage your money a bit, because I've been stupid at times. I have. Fortunately now, we're lucky at the moment. We're in a good era for prop firms because there's a lot of them popping up there. It does, it does make prices better for us. I mean, who'd have thought 2 years ago we'd be getting $16 evaluations. 2 years ago, I was paying $75 minimum per evaluation, 5 times the amount. So it is good nowadays, but you have to do evaluations, in my opinion, because you have to experience loss and frustration and fear. You have to experience it. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to have daily trading. When you're going to have those emotions, you have to experience the emotions, and you have to enable your brain to experience them enough times before it starts to become more normal. Very song took a higher low here. Yeah, well, we thought the same earlier, didn't we? And then was it about here? And it was bottoming, and look, it's come down another 5, 10, 15, 20 points. So I don't know, maybe. It's feasible it's going to break at some point, but what time is it? I'm about done, I think. Usually I do about the 3 hours. New York lunch hour reversal tends to, yeah. They do tend to usually have a rally, don't they? At some point, so you may be right. But I'm pleased with that trade because, in all fairness, we don't often see them that textbook. We may see 3 a day, that obvious. But trades are a bit more complicated than they used to be. They used to be our bread and butter, but I've had to sort of expand my vocabulary of trade setups. I used to avoid triple tests, but now they're starting to be of real interest to me because they can be really lucrative. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to knock it on the head actually today. I'm quite happy with what I got. Also took the long, excuse me, took that long there. Yeah, I've had it drummed into me by Mac never to counter trend trade, and at the moment that was a bit. It's not to say it wasn't going to work, and you guys might trade slightly different to me, and if you have got things like this delta and it's telling you to go along, obviously you've got to follow your own system and strategy. But have you noticed we've had a little pull up there and a bit of an overshoot? Now, in a lot of cases, an overshoot will result in a reversal, which would send the market back down. And have you noticed we've come down this time and we're quite a bit further away, so we may end up, depending on how bearish it is, we may end up doing something like that. Or something like that. I don't know. It's possible. It's just a bit. It's just a sort of, call it an educated guess, if you like. But we may start to decrease the angle, but continue down still. I don't know. But your guess is as good as mine. But what I will say is we've had the really strong trend down. Lots of areas where we've gone sideways and down and gone sideways, and it builds up structure down. And so, I mean, it's a real trending channel, that push down, sideways, push down, sideways, push down, get a bit of a, but sorry if I've talked like shit today. Some days I just yabber on. But there you go. That's it for me today, folks. So I hope you've got some green. I'm guessing if you were sat in front of your screen when that happened, you'd have jumped in on there, and good luck to you. It was a nice trade, that one. It's about as textbook second entry as you can get. They just don't look any more obvious than that, really. Push up, pull back, push up. As it pushed up, if you look back on that and you didn't see it, it dropped like a stone, which tells me there's some sell orders there. People are thinking about selling that. So it's a textbook second entry short, that. So okay day today, $600 minus fees over my 4 accounts. So I'm pleased. If I can get that every day, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good result for me, because conditions have been a bit tough lately. But my last few trades have been on the 1,000 tick chart, but today it hasn't materialised as much. It's all been on the 2,000. But it is nice to have the two open, because it does just give you that extra chance of sealing, getting a nice trade on the board. But I think I've had to be a bit careful, because you can get a bit confused sometimes. So, but there you do. We may actually have been having a push out now. But there you go. So it is Thursday today, isn't it? Thursday day. So we've got one more day now. We've got this weekend coming up, which I believe it's the first. You guys will obviously know your own holidays better than me. What day is the first? Let's have a look. What day is the first? The first is on a Friday. So, what is Labour Day? Is Labour Day on the Monday? Would it be Monday the 4th? So it's my daughter's birthday on the 5th. So I'll probably still trade that day. So the Friday the 1st. So a week tomorrow. I don't know whether the markets are going to shut a bit earlier, but I'm assuming people will be taking. I'm assuming that'll be the last weekend before most of the institutional traders come back to work. So we've got tomorrow, and then I'm guessing Monday to Thursday. So whether Friday will be a trading day, I'm assuming it'll be a half a day, maybe a full day. I don't know. And then obviously we've got Labour Day on the Monday. So I'm assuming Tuesday will be back to normal, or relatively back to normal, and then I'm assuming then it'll be a last push. We've got nothing then. Tell a lie, we got Thanksgiving in November, and then we'll be into Christmas. Unbelievable. I will say we've got a shop, or a sort of multiple stores in the UK called Home Bargains. And I went into them a couple of days ago and noticed they've got Christmas decorations in already. So kind of crazy, really, that people are thinking about Christmas, but that's the way it is. And usually in Shrewsbury, where I live, if anybody doesn't know where Shrewsbury is, just think about where Charles Darwin was born and went to school, and then you'll know exactly where I am. And usually early October is when the Christmas decorations start to go up, but it seems to get quicker and quicker every year. So that's it for today, folks. It's been a good positive day. We've had a nice move for a change. Fortunately, we managed to get an offering, but just like so many times, we pull down with a big move like this and don't get an offering. But we had a really nice one. That was an absolute sitter, that was. So I hope everyone got some of that. So I'll be back same time tomorrow. So if you're carrying on trading, good luck. But I appreciate all your comments. And I'll be back same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe as always. And we'll talk again. Thank you, Ryan. I hope I haven't yabbered too much. If I do, you've got a volume switch. I suggest you use it. So have a great evening, and I will we'll chat again same time tomorrow. Bye for now.